On westbound I-84 at the 10-mile road exit. The left lanes are blocked and there are slowdowns there. It's normal freeway speeds on eastbound I-84 from the Carter-Midland interchange in Nampa to the Flying Y in Boise. The connector slows right before 13th downtown, and traffic is picking up on State Street, Chinnen Boulevard, and Eagle Road. I'm Carl B. in the On Your Side Traffic Center.
President Trump's legal team is making the case. I'm ABC's Janae Norman in Washington with what they're saying about subpoenas, indictments, and pardons coming up.
Plus, the summer may be weeks away on the calendar, but here in Idaho, it feels like we've already made the switch in seasons, right? There's only one day in my extended forecast that has temperatures down near normal, and I'll break that down for you coming up in a bit.
You're waking up with 6 on Your Side News. Good morning, Idaho.
Welcome back. President Trump's legal team arguing the president can't be forced to testify and claiming even if the president were found guilty of a crime, he has the power to pardon himself. This all comes after a leaked memo the president's team wrote to the special counsel claiming that it's impossible for the president to be found guilty of obstruction of justice. ABC's Janae Norman explains from Washington.
President Trump's legal team is making the case.
You cannot indict a sitting president.
Lead attorney Rudy Giuliani with a shocking suggestion and hair-raising hypothetical, telling the Huffington Post in no case can he be subpoenaed or indicted. If he shot James Comey, he'd be impeached the next day. Impeach him, and then you can do whatever you want to do to him. And making the claim that even if the president were found guilty of a crime, he has the power to pardon.
Do you and the president's attorneys believe the president has the power to pardon himself?
He's not, but he probably does.
But Giuliani says the political ramifications would be too great for the president to pardon himself. All this as President Trump's legal team responds to a 20-page leaked memo sent to the special counsel dated January 29th. The president's lawyers arguing he can't be guilty of obstruction of justice as he is the chief law enforcement officer, a claim legal experts are skeptical of.
So the notion that suddenly obstruction of justice is not something a president can ever do is a radical theory.
And that secret memo revealing for the first time the president's attorneys admitting President Trump dictated the initial response about his son Don Jr.'s meeting with a Russian attorney months before the election, something the White House previously denied.
He certainly didn't dictate, but, you know, like I said, he weighed in.
First it was all denied, and now you're saying he dictated.
This is the reason you don't let the president testify. If, you know, our recollection keeps changing, or we're not even asked a question, and somebody makes an assumption.
And Giuliani has made it clear that the president's team will fight if Mueller tries to subpoena him, telling ABC News if that happens, we're going to court. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
First Lady Melania Trump will not attend the G7 summit later this week in Quebec. Her spokesperson also says she won't join President Donald Trump when he visits Singapore next week for a planned meeting with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. The First Lady has not been seen publicly for over 20 days, but her spokesperson said she's expected to attend a Gold Star event at the White House today. Her last public appearance was with her husband on May 10th for the arrival of the 3 American detainees from North Korea. She had what her spokesperson described as a medical procedure to treat a benign kidney issue on May 14th. A landmark new study finds most women with the most common form of early-stage breast cancer can safely skip chemotherapy. This finding could spare 70,000 Americans a year from the ordeal and the expense of chemo. ABC's Maggie Rulli has more.
It's the largest study ever done about breast cancer treatment, and its main finding is that at least 70% of early-stage breast cancer patients may not need chemotherapy while battling the disease. It's welcome news to those who've experienced it.
I had nausea. I also then lost my hair. It felt like the worst flu I'd ever had, times 10. And you have absolutely no energy.
The study used a gene test done on tumors to help decide whether a woman would benefit from chemo or if they could receive hormone therapy. Using this test, researchers found that chemotherapy did not add any benefit in survival rates or reoccurrence for most women. But researchers say some women 50 and younger in high-risk groups might still need chemo.
This is for the woman at intermediate risk for that cancer to recur. So we used to say for that group of women in terms of chemotherapy, better safe than sorry. This trial using using this type of genetic test lets us say to those women, you will do fine without chemotherapy and spare all of the stuff that comes along with that.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
It's 6:16 now. Here's a live look at Boise from the Tower Cam on top of the Grove Hotel. Thanks to our Toyota Dealers Tower Cam network. Still ahead on Good Morning Idaho, we'll have this morning's forecast with Rachel Garceau.
You're waking up with 6 on Your Side News. Good Morning Idaho.
Welcome back. As the weather warms up, you can expect to get a knock on your door from a door-to-door salesperson. While many of these sellers are legitimate, the Better Business Bureau has some tips on spotting a fake. BBB's Veronica Craker joins us this morning. So Veronica, what types of door-to-door scams can come out of this?
Right, well, the ones we typically see involve the home meat sales scams, magazine sales, home security alarms, there's even the home improvement scams. And these typically happen in the warmer months, so now is the time to be on guard. Of course, remember, many legitimate businesses do solicit door-to-door. I just had a BBB accredited business at my home a couple of weeks ago, but there are some signs to look out for just to make sure you aren't conned.
And what are some of the signs that these sellers might not be who they are?
Right, so if they're being really vague about the company they work for, they don't have any identification on them, that's a big red flag. Also, watch out for the kinds of questions they're asking you. Are they asking how many people live in the home? When will you be home so I can come back and talk to you? They could be trying to figure out when the house will be empty. So you can schedule a time to talk to them without revealing any of that information.
And what does BBB recommend if you get one of these people at your door?
Well, definitely, again, ask for that identification. Ask for, a business card, a copy of the business license. Many of the counties here in Idaho require that their door-to-door salespeople have a special permit, so you can ask if they've obtained that. Also, watch out for any high-pressure sales tactics. That could be a way for them to try to pressure you into signing a contract or paying now, and then you don't get what you actually wanted to get in the end. And then finally, remember the FTC's cooling off rule. This is a law that gives you 3 days to cancel any purchases that were $25 or more if they were made somewhere that's not the business's residence, or permanent business. So if that happens in your front door, then you can definitely cancel that order.